In this video, I want to explain some strategies Kenyans can use in making sure William Ruto becomes a one-term president. And I'm saying that because it's a fact Ruto has failed to deliver. A whooping majority of Kenyans are tired and fed up of his rule. And if only our elections were being conducted in a free, fair manner, it's almost certain William Ruto would lose that election very, very miserably. If only our elections were being done in a free, fair way, Ruto would lose that election very badly. But nonetheless, how then can Kenyans turn their resentments and their hate for William Ruto in making sure he actually becomes a one-term president? That's what I want us to find out in this video. Before we do that, let's have a look at this. President Ruto's office and State House spent Kenya shillings 2.2 billion between July to September 2023. Controller of Budget report. So Ruto's office alone, in just 3 months, it has spent 2.2 billion Kenyan shillings. So in a month, Ruto is spending about a billion, something around a billion in a month. In only 3 months, this office has squandered 2.2 billion. So it's also true that Ruto and his team are living lavishly as Kenyans are suffering. And you can just tie the dots to understand why Ruto and his team are living that lavish lifestyle. It's because of the additional taxes that they are putting on Kenyans. It's those taxes that is making Ruto and his team to live lavishly. So Ruto is technically sitting on poor Kenyans. And then he says, we inherited broke coffers. Which strategy can Kenyans use in making sure this man becomes a one-term president, as a majority of Kenyans are yearning for? Let me start by saying this. We must first of all know William Ruto's strategy for 2027. Some weeks back, William Ruto met Kenya Kwanza leaders at State House, Nairobi, where he told them that they should not care about popularity now. That popularity only matters at the right time. So according to William Ruto's own thinking, he can persecute Kenyans, he can sit on Kenyans now till around 2026. Wacha wa Kenya wateseke kabisa, and then around 2026, he'll start easing the pressure on Kenyans. And Kenyans will be cheering him up and emulating him. Some will be saying, kumbe this man had a plan. So the plan is actually yielding. Ruto intends on increasing the prices of almost everything within his first 2 years. Within the first 2 years, I'm seeing a president who intends on increasing the prices of almost everything. In the 3rd and 4th year, he'll start reducing those prices gradually, bit by bit. And as he does that, he'll be telling Kenyans, I told you that we had a plan. You see, the plan has started bearing fruits. The cost of living is coming down. And he'll be doing that targeting 2027. That's a strategy I see William Ruto as intending on using. Kenyans should reject that strategy, and they should know that that's a strategy most definitely he will use in 2027. Kenyans should reject that strategy. If William Ruto cares about Kenyans, let us see it today, not waiting till around 2026 or till 2025. Let us see it today. Because the way this government is running things, there is a lot of money in this government, money being wasted through corruption. We have been seeing some broke, some individuals who are just broke last year, now as cabinet secretaries, they are now billionaires. A confirmation, there is a lot of money in this government, but that money is just benefiting these top government officials. Kenyans are being pushed to the wall on taxes. And then secondly, that's the first strategy. Secondly, any leader supporting William Ruto, whether that leader has delivered or not, Kenyans should reject those leaders. There are very many good leaders on the ground. Any person supporting Kenya Kwanza regime, whether that person has delivered or not, Kenyans should sacrifice them. And they should do that to save themselves from a William Ruto's presidency. Because he can use those leaders, and these leaders, upon Ruto coming back again in 2027, he'll still use these leaders to change the constitution. And just as I've been saying here, he will install himself as a life president. So around 2025, 2026, he will be lowering the cost of living. After being re-elected, then Kenyans start suffering again. Kenyans should reject these leaders. These are the leaders who are acting as brokers between William Ruto and the ground. They go to the people, they campaign for William Ruto, and they are confusing some Kenyans on the ground. Upon this leader supporting William Ruto passing the Finance Bill 2023 in Parliament, I saw them going back to the people with bags of unga, with handouts, and Kenyans were happy and celebrating them. So as he gives you unga or some money, they are actually campaigning for William Ruto. And we know sometimes hunger can lead us into doing so many bad things. Hunger can confuse somebody who hated William Ruto to actually vote for him again, courtesy to this leader supporting William Ruto. And that's the strategy William Ruto intends on using again. He'll be using these leaders. That's why he intends on buying as many leaders as possible. These are the leaders who will be popularizing his bid on the ground. Kenyans should reject those leaders. They should actually look for new leaders. That's a sacrifice worth making. So, in other words, I'm saying the ground should be very hostile to these Kenya Kwanza leaders, to a point they will even shy from mentioning William Ruto's name in public. If Kenyans can be serious and be angry enough, these leaders will not even attempt mentioning William Ruto's name in public. I saw Sabatia, member of parliament, speaking today, defending William Ruto's frequent trips outside. And Sabatia, member of parliament, an MP in Vihiga County, in the heart of the Mulembe Nation, is pressing William Ruto for the foreign trips. That's a leader in the Mulembe Nation, an area Kenyans are tired of a William Ruto's rule. He's doing that because the ground is still receptive of him. Even though the ground is very much annoyed, they are still receptive to some of these leaders. Kenyans this time around should make a sacrifice. Let them sacrifice all these leaders. Mengine tutajua baadaye, but as for now, the only way is to sacrifice and to reject these leaders supporting William Ruto. I believe that those two strategies, if Kenyans can implement them, then William Ruto will find the ground very hostile. He'll have nobody to campaign for him on the ground because these leaders are also looking at their political interests. If the ground becomes hostile, William Ruto will be left alone. He'll have nobody to campaign for him. And then Kenyans should not assume that Ruto has already rigged 2027 presidential election. If they make that assumption, then even a person who wanted to wake up to vote against William Ruto can lose hope in that he or she will see William Ruto has already rigged himself for 2027. Kenyans should now come out of that kind of a thought and debate. All Kenyans should agree that William Ruto will become a one-term president. It's also a psychological war. If all Kenyans agree that this man, irrespective of the formula he will use, he'll fail, that in itself will encourage very many Kenyans who will turn out to reject William Ruto at the ballot. And we might find a very big turnout that has never been seen in Kenya before. Kenyans will be very eager to vote out William Ruto because it's a fact. These are man assuming Kenyans are fools. Let me stop it there. If you are watching us but you have not yet subscribed, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.